So I think there's a couple of points around cost and innovation that I wouldn't say they're necessarily overlooked, but they need to be considered. Um, it 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 does take time and effort to be innovative, doesn't it? You can uh, you can spend days and weeks researching a particular topic or a particular technology or a particular subject, um, only to find that it's probably not right for your business. Um, you need to be able to keep abreast of those technology changes or those industry changes in order to really be innovative in them. And it's not just a case of one particular area these days, is it? Like actually, we could talk about payments, or we could talk about customer experience, we could talk about customer journeys, origination, the actual financial product that's available. All of these areas are rapidly evolving and require innovation, and that requires time and effort and engineering expertise in order to not only keep up to date with them, but to find new ways of exploring and new ways of innovating. We allow our technology teams time and space to do that learning, to do that innovating, and to do that experimenting, being able to rapidly evolve, being able to rapidly deploy change, and test it and make sure that it's right. And that, to your point earlier, Kieron, tried and tested and proven, make sure it's right, and then you can build on that innovation and continually evolve it. That is a really easy and simple thing to say, isn't it? But actually put it in practice with a team of people, and it becomes quite difficult and costly.
Yeah, so I think that I mean, I should reiterate the total cost of ownership question in there, or not question, point in there. It generally is going to be more expensive to build things yourself from scratch and to manage and own them over time. It just is 9 times out of 10. Particularly, not everybody can be innovating in every part of every aspect of their business. It would just be massively expensive to do that when you particularly think about total cost of ownership. So enabling our partners to innovate where they want to innovate and where they really add value, and then they can let other people worry about the other stuff. It's incredibly cost efficient, and particularly because they can contract and manage their costs quite effectively. Then they don't have to necessarily worry about spiraling costs or things that they don't see coming. And I think that's often one of the things that happens when you're building, or you don't have you enter into an area where you don't have the expertise. You've got to be prepared for kind of like things that will unwind, things that you'll find, the kind of unknown unknowns that come out. I think the second point that I'd like to make is around innovating isn't always about invention. It's not necessarily always about making a brand new thing. It's more often than not about combining existing systems and modules into something that brings true new value to people. I think the fact that we provide, modular systems that allows people to do that, allows them to innovate today. It could allow them to innovate later. It could allow them to bring value when they want to. And I think that that's like incredibly useful. And then the final point, really again, and at the risk of sounding like a broken record, it's bringing that expertise to the table. You could be having a conversation with experts in payments, experts in lending, experts in compliance, all under one roof, just by partnering with the right partners, people who live and breathe that. So, for example, we will obsess in Acquired about payment authorization rates. I certainly know that if I was worrying about, customer journeys, onboarding and volume targets in lending, that's probably not the thing I'd want to spend most of my time worrying about. So if you partner with the right people, you will just 10x where you are by having those relationships and the people who really sweat and care about those things.
Yeah, I think you make a really interesting point about innovation not necessarily being about developing something new, but actually perhaps using the right technology in the right way for the right circumstance. And I think that's what a partner network and an ecosystem does for Lenvi is, we learn from that ecosystem. We learn from the fact that we've got so many lending clients that utilize our platform and our ecosystem in various different ways, and we're able to bring that to the table in conversations with lenders to innovate, and again, not necessarily building new technology, but innovate with different partners, different ways of working, different uses of technology to actually offer value.
the time point you mentioned was really interesting as well, wasn't it? Like, you can, by partnering with people, choose the point at which you want to take the most effective kind of innovation that they have done. If you're doing it all yourself, well, you've basically got your own priorities and your own timeline to work to. But other than that, you've not really got much choice, have you? But if you partner with people, you can let them worry about the kind of the timelines of everything, and then say, oh, actually, do you know what? Now is a really great time for us to change our payments journey, or now is a really good time for us to change our the way that we're doing collections and strategies. We can plug that into where the partner's at and effectively deliver it.